What would you do if you walked into an elevator and felt like someone was watching you, but when you looked around, no one was there? In 2013, a 21-year-old traveler checked into a historic Los Angeles hotel. A few days later, she vanished. No signs of struggle, no witnesses, no explanation. But then, police released elevator footage, and what it showed made this one of the most debated unsolved mysteries in America. In January 2013, Elisa Lam, a college student from Canada, was traveling alone across California. She was adventurous, curious, independent. She documented her journey online, posting photos, thoughts, reflections. Los Angeles was one of her final stops. She checked into the Cecil Hotel in downtown LA. The hotel had a long, complicated history. It had seen decades of strange incidents and dark headlines. But to Elisa, it was just a place to stay. At first, everything seemed normal. She called her parents every day, until suddenly, she didn't. One missed call turned into 2, then 3. Her parents immediately knew something wasn't right, and that's when the search began. Police searched her hotel room. Her clothes were still there, her laptop, her belongings. Nothing looked disturbed. There were no signs of forced entry, no signs of a struggle. It was as if she had simply stepped out for a moment and never returned. Days passed. No leads, no sightings. Then detectives decided to release something to the public. Security footage from inside the hotel elevator. They hoped someone might recognize something. What they didn't expect was the reaction it would cause. The video begins with Elisa stepping into the elevator. She presses multiple buttons. Then she steps back into the corner. She peeks her head out into the hallway, quickly pulls it back in. She presses more buttons, but the doors don't close. For nearly 2 minutes, the elevator remains open. She appears anxious. At times, she gestures with her hands, as if she's speaking to someone just outside the frame. But no one appears on camera. No shadow, no movement. Nothing. Then, suddenly, she walks out of the elevator. The doors finally close. That was the last confirmed sighting of her alive. The footage spread across the internet. Millions watched. Everyone asked the same question. Who was she talking to? Weeks later, hotel guests began complaining. The water pressure was low. The water tasted strange. Maintenance workers were sent to check the rooftop water tanks. On top of the hotel, large industrial tanks stored water for the building. One worker climbed the ladder, opened the heavy metal lid, and inside, they found Elisa. There were no obvious signs of physical violence. Authorities ruled it an accidental drowning, but the questions didn't stop. How did she access the locked rooftop? Why were there no alarms triggered? How did she get into the tank alone? And most unsettling of all, who or what was she reacting to in that elevator? Others believe someone was just out of frame. Some think the elevator malfunctioned, causing panic. And then there are those who believe there's something darker tied to that hotel's past. But after years of investigation, no definitive answers have ever satisfied everyone. The case remains one of the most discussed mysteries of the modern internet era. Monsters. They don't need shadows. They don't need the supernatural. Sometimes the most disturbing part is not knowing. Not knowing what happened in those final moments. Not knowing who was there, or if anyone was there at all. And maybe that's why this story still haunts people to this day. Because some elevators close and never